Good morning all. In this video lecture we will be discussing diffusion material transportation phenomena. Okay, diffusion process is one of the material transportation phenomena which takes place at elevated temperature or higher temperature. Okay, with the help of temperature the material will be moving from one region to another when there is a concentration gradient. So we can say diffusion is a material transportation phenomena taking place when there is a concentration gradient. Also it enhances or it increases when the temperature gradient is increasing. So it is a mass flow process in which atoms will change its position when related to neighboring position. It is influenced by the thermal energy and also the concentration gradient. So as the temperature increases, diffusion rate increases, and also when the concentration gradient increases, also the material transportation process or the diffusion process increases. One important phenomena which is associated with diffusion is the diffusion gradient, or also we can call it as the concentration gradient. So if we are considering the figure, we can see in one region the molecules are more closely packed or more densely packed when compared to the regions towards the right side. Towards the left it is having a higher concentration gradient, and the region towards the right it is having the lower concentration gradient. If such condition exists in the material, there is always a chance that the material will try to diffuse from one region to another when it gets a sufficient amount of energy, or when it gets a sufficient amount of energy, which normally we used to take the activation energy. We used to tell it as the activation energy. It is the minimum energy required by any material to break the bond in atomic level, and it will tends to move from one region to another. Normally this activation energy can be supplied by the increase in the temperature. So diffusion gradient is the phenomenon in which the concentration of the diffusion of the species in one region will be having higher concentration when compared to another region. So it can diffuse from one region to another, or it can move from one region to another. When we are classifying the diffusion, the first classification is the interdiffusion, or the diffusion which is taking place within a material. So we are considering a copper nickel alloy which consists of copper as well as nickel in the material. Uh, so the process by which the atoms will tends to diffuse from one metal to another. Sorry, it is not a copper nickel alloy. We are considering two material. One is copper, another one is the nickel. So uh, initially we have a pure form of copper metal which have 100% copper, and we have a nickel. So under diffusion, when we supply a sufficient amount of energy so that we can break the bond in which the atoms are bonded, the material will tends to diffuse from one region to another, which is seen in the next figure. We can see under concentration gradient as well as the temperature gradient, the material will tends to move from one region to another. So copper will tends to move the region inside the nickel where the concentration of copper is very less, and nickel will tends to move from nickel to the sites in the copper where the amount of copper or the quantity of copper is very less. So this process which is taking place, we can say it as interdiffusion. So it is the process by which the atoms of one metal tends to diffuse into another, which is called as interdiffusion process, or also called as impurity diffusion. So next kind of diffusion is the self-diffusion. This is taking place within the material. So diffusion occurs in pure material are normally called as self-diffusion process, where the atoms of the metals interchange or exchange their position. So we can see certain atomic positions which is named as A, B, C and D. So after a period of times, or after sometimes due to self-diffusion under a particular environmental condition like concentration gradient, or we can say under temperature, the material tends to exchange their position. It will move from one position to another. So in the second figure, after some time we can see the position of the atoms are getting interchanged. Such kind of diffusions normally we used to tell it as self-diffusion process. Next is the mechanism taking place in the diffusion. We know the two important criteria for meeting the diffusion is, one is the concentration gradient or the diffusion gradient, second one is the requirement of a temperature. Okay, so for an atom to move from its lattice site, two conditions must be satisfied. First one is they must be having a vacant position or an empty position adjacent to it, so to which they can move. Second condition is the atom must be having sufficient energy to break its bonding. Okay, in every material there is a bonding, so it has to break the bond in which it is connected to the neighboring atoms and it should be migrated to the adjacent position. This particular amount of energy which is required to break the bond is called as activation energy. So, and higher the temperature, higher is the probability that atom will requires or atom will achieve this particular energy or the activation energy. So hence normally the diffusion rate always increases with increase in the temperature. And in another term normally we used to tell diffusion is a temperature dependent material transportation phenomenon. Next we will discuss the different types of diffusion mechanisms. First one will be the vacancy diffusion, then interstitial diffusion. Another diffusion mechanism is the direct interchange diffusion, and finally it is the interstitiality diffusion. So moving on to the first kind of diffusion mechanism, which is the vacancy diffusion. In this mechanism of vacancy diffusion, it involves the interchange of atoms from a normal position to an adjacent position where a vacancy is present. So this is happens when there is a vacancy is present, or a what we can say a point defect or a vacancy defect is present adjacent to the atom. In such a way, so atom from one position it will be moving to the vacancy, which can create one vacancy in its initial position. So we can say in two ways. One point is like atom is diffusing from one region to another, or we can say the vacancy is diffusing from one region to another. Both way we can see. So the vacancy also is getting exchange its position. The rate of vacancy diffusion depends upon the number of vacancy existing in the material, the temperature, and also the activation energy required for the concentration, activation energy required for this exchange process. Next kind of the diffusion is the interstitial diffusion. So this takes place normally in an alloy or any solid solution which consists of two species. One, it is having atoms occupied in its void spaces. We have a solid solution which normally we can say interstitial solid solution, where we know in an interstitial solid solution the foreign atoms or the alloying elements is trying to occupying the interstitial position of the parent material. So we have an interstitial atom in a particular position or interstitial position between the parent atoms. When we are having a sufficient concentration gradient as well as the temperature or the activation energy required, these atoms will tend to change its position. So from one interstitial site it will move towards the another interstitial sites. This particular phenomenon is called as interstitial diffusion. It is the migration of atoms from one interstitial position to a neighboring interstitial position. So in the figure you can see the position of the interstitial atom before the diffusion and after the diffusion. This commonly takes place in the smaller atoms which diffuse from one position to another. This is more rapid than the vacancy diffusion. The reason for this is, for the vacancy diffusion, the exchange of atom takes place, it is the parent atom, which means it is the exchange takes place, the size of the atom is comparatively large, and in this case the size of the atom is very small. So probability of taking interstitial diffusion is higher. So the probability of having the interstitial diffusion is more than that of the vacancy diffusion. Next one is the direct interchange diffusion. In this actually no foreign atom is present and no vacancy is present. Instead the atoms will be completely filled in its initial positions, in its actual lattice position. When under a concentration gradient, what will happen is the atom will tends to interchange its position, or when it is having the sufficient activation energy, it tends to move its position from one region to another. So this can take place like between two atoms or between three atoms, or it can be taking place between four atoms. Like that it tends to rotate its position. So this can be also called as ring diffusion or Zener diffusion, Zener ring diffusion. This results in severe lattice distortion in the material. Severe lattice distortion means the atoms will be having will experience a severe strain in its actual lattice position. And also to take this interchange diffusion, energy required will be much higher, or the activation energy required will be more when compared to the other kind of the diffusion mechanisms. And the last diffusion mechanism is the interstitiality diffusion. In this case, a regular atom, it is missing from its actual position and it is trying to occupying an interstitial position. So this can create a lot of stress field around the other atoms. Interstitiality diffusion is actually different from the interstitial diffusion, because in the interstitial diffusion we have a two atom species, like we have a smaller atoms which is occupying in the interstitial position of a parent atom. That smaller atom is getting diffused from one region to another, but in this case a regular atom from its actual position, it is leaving its position and it is occupying an interstitial position. Next, we will discuss the various terms or the terminology which is associated with the diffusion process. The first one is the diffusion flux. It is actually the amount of materials or atoms which is moving a unit area under a unit time. So we can see it is the amount of material transportation taking place along a cross-sectional area under unit time. It is normally expressed by the notation J, which is equal to 1 by A dm by dt, where dm by dt is the material rate of change of the material or the rate of transport of material per unit time, and 1 by A, actually the A actually represents the area, cross sectional area of the material. So diffusion flux can actually measure the rate of transportation of the vacancy. It can when it is in a alloy, it can represents the rate of transportation of the parent material, or it can also represent the rate of transportation of the alloying elements. So per unit area, per unit time, how many amount of atoms or how many number of atoms are diffusing through one cross sectional area, it actually is called as diffusion flux. So second term is the concentration gradient or the diffusion gradient. The concentration gradient of the diffusion is actually when it is plotted, like when we are saying the concentration profile, if we are drawing the concentration profile, it is actually the amount of diffusing species present in the material related to the position. So we can see, for example, in the case of the copper nickel, the presence of copper is higher in the left side, presence of nickel is higher in the right side. And when we are moving across the material from one region to another, the concentration of the copper is getting decreased from moving from left to right, and the concentration of nickel is getting decreased from moving from right to left. So this profile is actually the concentration profile, which is actually the concentration versus position of the atoms. Okay, and the slope of this concentration profile, we are calling it as the concentration gradient. So concentration gradient is nothing but the rate of change of it is the change in concentration divided by the change in position. So it is the change in concentration by the change in position. Next is the steady state diffusion. Steady state diffusion is the kind of diffusion in which the concentration gradient remains constant. So there is no change in the concentration with respect to the time and with respect to the distance. And another term is the diffusion coefficient, or also called as diffusivity. Okay, it is the intensity at which the atoms will diffuse from one region to another. Okay, in a material, it depends upon the type of diffusing species, the composition of the diffusion medium in which the diffusion takes place. Also, it will depends upon the temperature as well as the temperature gradient. So diffusion coefficient can also be considered as a measure of how fast or how easily the diffusion is taking place from one region to another. Next associated term is the activation energy. Already we know, we have discussed the activation energy is the energy required to break the bond of atomic bonding between the material and to overcome that particular resistance, the interatomic bonding, and to move from one region to another. So the minimum energy required to break the bond and transport the atoms from one region to another, this particular quantity of energy is called as the activation energy. So it can be termed as the energy required to overcome the barrier, which is called as activation energy. Next, we will discuss the various factors which are affecting the diffusion process. The first and foremost important factor is the requirement of the activation energy. So we can say it is the nature of the diffusing species. Depending upon the species or depending upon the material, the bonding nature will be different. So the bonding strength will be different in the different classification of material, which we already know. In the metal, there is one particular type of bonding, metallic bonding. In the case of ionic materials it is ionic bonding, in covalent materials it is covalent bonding. So the strength of the bondings vary from material to material, so it will depends upon the type of material or type of diffusing species, and the atomic diameter size of the material, the melting point of the material, etc. Next it will depends upon the concentration of the medium to which it is again diffusing. So what is the concentration of the species to medium in which it is to be transferred. Next it will depends upon the crystal structure, the atomic packing factor, atomic density of the material, distortion, lattice distortion present in the material, etc. It will depends upon the imperfection present in the material. More the number of imperfection, more will be the diffusing path. So imperfection normally will help in diffusion. Next, grain size. Fine grain material will be having more grain boundary area, it will provide more diffusing path. Temperature, already discussed with this point. Temperature, as the temperature increases, the diffusion rate will be increasing. As the temperature decreases, the rate of diffusion decreases. Next is the presence of impurities. The presence of impurity will decreases the rate of diffusion. In next class we will discuss the two laws which is associated with the diffusion. First one is the Fick's first law of diffusion, second one is the Fick's second law of diffusion. Thank you.